You know, if I start the episode by opening up a pint of beer and taking a big chug from it, you know it's not a good sign. I mean, the title alone, it sounds innocent. Severus Snape, Professor and Lover. That's your first red flag right there. The lover. You want to know what the other red flag is? The fact that this is a crossover. A crossover with what, you might ask? Well, if you read the description of today's episode, you would know. But in case you haven't read the description, I will tell you, because you're going to find out no matter what anyway. Teletubbies. That's right, a Harry Potter and Teletubbies crossover. You're probably like, well, that's not too bad. It's just Teletubbies. And it's Professor Snape. All he's going to do is tell them to turn to page 164. I know that's not the actual page. I just pulled it out of my arse. Don't judge me. But no. This story. This bloody story. If I had known who the author was of this story, I would not have read it. Because the thing is, the author that's listed in the web page is not the author of this story. The author, or the poster of this, on this website, it's a fanfiction website, wattpad.com. The author is Kermit Way, but no, they are not the original author. Do you want to know who the original author is? Comics Nix. Breathe. Just breathe. I should have known. I should have known when I was reading it, with how disgusting this story was, with how revolting and nonsensical. I should have known. I recognized it, but I was in denial. I was like, no, it can't be. It can't be. But then, when I was finished, and I read the little note that the author put on the top, saying, oh God, do yourself a favor and don't read this. It's a bit late for that, don't you think? They say that they don't own the story, and that you can Google the original. You can't actually find the original. However, you can find out the history of it. And that's how I found out that the author is Comics Nix. Mind you, it wasn't Comics Nix who possessed my friend and tried to murder me, thus forcing me to murder him/her. But still, he's the one that was the catalyst for it all. Back when the old web show was being done, Meg was challenged to several Comics Nix challenges by this entity known as Ringmaster J5. She would spend hours sitting, reading these awful stories that make this one look relatively tame, to be fair. But they were so awful, and they drove her so batty. The final challenge I did in her stead, and that one I believe was actually on the web show. I don't think the other ones were technically on her old web show. They were on her channel, but I guess they were specials. But no, the final challenge was actually on the web show, and I was the one that did it in her stead. I knocked her out with the face pistol, and I forced Ringmaster J5 to have me read the atrocities instead. They were awful. They were mind-numbing, but I got through them. And I was a bit cocky about it. Probably not my best point, because what happened was he got mad, and he possessed Meg, and forced me to kill her, and it's a long story. But it caused a lot of mental anguish for the two of us for years to follow. Anguish that we have both recovered from. Until today, when I read this story. I will be fine. I just need to get through this review. I mean, I might as well do the review. I already wasted my time reading it. I might as well review it. And if you all dare, I will have the link in the description box. But be warned, it is awful. It makes lesbian Jesus and her heavenly wedding look tame. So, the story starts off with Snape being very sad. He doesn't have any pleasure in teaching students anymore. Because, Snape was always a basket of sunshine and rainbows. So, Dumbledore comes up with this brilliant solution to transfer Snape to another school. This other school is where the Teletubbies are. The Tubby Dome Cybertronic. That's what it's called. I don't know if it's called that in the actual show, but that's apparently what it's called. So Snape, of course, is happy for some reason. I mean, Snape is very out of character in this story, but then again, it's Comics Nix. Any Comics Nix story has the characters be ridiculously out of character. The thing is, though, the Teletubbies don't want to learn magic and whatnot. They want to learn to be adults. Teletubbies, they're pretty much toddlers. They are permanent toddlers. And they want to learn to be adults. So you would think Snape, being the actual adult, would be like, no, you're all too young to be adults. Open up your textbooks and I'll teach you how to make potions. Now, instead of that, he obliges. He obliges. So, the Teletubbies have this secret little cave that they go to be in so they can be free of being watched by the baby in the sky. And of course, in classic Comics Nix fashion, this cave is described to be very rancid and disgusting, because nothing can ever be clean and sanitary in a Comics Nix story. It can't just be simple sex or simple violence, no. It has to be described in the most gruesome and disgusting way possible. And this story is no exception. So they go into this disgusting love cave. And Snape starts with his lesson. He starts by trimming Lala's cotton mouth. That's how it's described. Her womanhood is described along the lines of a cotton mouth, because she's very bushy down there. The descriptions are so he starts off with that, and he wants the two male Teletubbies to get started on each other. But they're a bit confused because, obviously a male's downstairs is rather different than a female's. Let's see if I can describe. I'll quote exactly how it's described. Right, let's see. So Dipsy, he says, Snape. Dipsy spoke. Tinky Winky have no crotch mouth, but a very strange tongue. It's filled with purple wrinkled skin. The grammar, by the way, is very atrocious. I'm not reading the entire story out loud to you. I'm just going to read the small tidbit so you get an idea of it. Oh, Dispy, he don't have crotch mouth, but behind him you will find a pork's eye. A pork's eye. Take a wild guess what that's supposed to be. That's right, the bum. Don't be afraid, it's dirty, but after a while you will like the fine flavour of melted chocolate covering your lips. And that's all I'm reading out loud to you, because it gets worse from here. And I'm not one to drink on the job, but I needed this. I really needed this to get through today's review, because it's that bloody bad. So Snape goes on with the demonstration. It gets very, very disgusting, the descriptions of what goes on, because again, it's Comics Nix. It's disgusting. Like, they have this one bit where Lala wants to, dominate Snape. And by doing this, she decides to fuck his nose. His nose. With her finger. So she's like picking his nose, and apparently this is erotic. And the description of it, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to gag. The description of it was just so bloody over the top and so disgusting. I swear to you, if you read this, please make sure you haven't eaten anything, or don't be eating anything. And if you decided to eat something anyway, have a bucket on standby, because there's a good chance you're going to upchuck, unless you're into booger sex. So eventually, the lovely lessons are done, and they are going to go and leave the Yuck Cave. And then they're confronted by Dumbledore, who is very disappointed in Snape. You'd think he'd be disappointed in Snape for, screwing children. But no, it's because apparently the Teletubbies are Death Eaters. They're Death Eaters. But it sounds like they were forced to be Death Eaters, and that, I guess, Dumbledore's keeping them prisoner, or something of that matter. So they try to fight against Dumbledore. Snape is trying to get the Teletubbies to escape. And I believe Tinky Winky sacrifices himself so they can escape. And then the story ends with a question mark. And apparently, there is a sequel to this story, but it wasn't written by Comics Nix. Oh, and before you ask, no, I am not reading that bloody story. So yes, that is today's review. Do not request Comics Nix stories. Do not. Do not. Because this is the only one I am ever touching on this show. And if Ringmaster J5 tries to come back from the dead, I will put you back in the ground, so don't get any ideas. The plot of this story was nonsensical. But none of the Comics Nix stories are sensical. They're all nonsensical. They're just, I just think, I guess they're troll fics, let's be real. They're bloody troll fics, but they're not even entertaining. They're just so disgusting. Like, they're so bloody gross. So gross. It's like, it makes me wonder if Comics Nix himself has, like, a yuck fetish. I think that is a thing where people are aroused by disgusting things. And if that is the case, then keep it to yourself. It's just disgusting. And stories like this are just insulting to fanfiction as a whole, because there are plenty of good fanfic out there. There's plenty of it. But it gets shot on because of bloody garbage like this. I didn't need to read this. And like I said before, if I had known it was a Comics Nix story, I wouldn't have touched it. And the person who posted this, oh God, don't read this. Then why did you post it? Why did you post it? If you don't want other people reading it, then why the bloody fuck did you post it online for people to read? Comics Nix stories do not deserve to see the light of day. I mean, this isn't even so bad it's good. It's just bloody disgusting. It's bloody disgusting. Ugh. Sorry if I wasn't that well put together in this review. But a lot of bad memories. Lots of bad memories. Well, if you all somehow enjoyed this review, congratulations. Congratulations. I will see you all next week. If you liked this video, I don't know why you would, but if you liked this video, just click on the thumbs up. And if for some reason this makes you want to subscribe, go right ahead too. If you unsubscribe for this, I wouldn't blame you, because this story was just... I will see you all next week. Cheerio.